Island Brew with me, Graham Hughes, broadcasting live and interactive. Hello, Sarah. To anyone who wants to watch from Ginger Island in Bocas del Toro in Panama. So once again, it's a beautiful day here on the archipelago. I hear it's snowing in the UK over here. It's going to be a scorcho today. I can already tell because I'm already sweating and it's only 8 a.m. here. You can hear the birds singing maybe in the background, as long as my mic's working. And today I want to just talk about the possibilities of where this goes. Where's this going to go? Like, it's been 2 weeks now, 2 weeks, the longest 2 weeks of my life, 2 weeks since Trump won the election, or the election day. It was 2 weeks ago today. And oh my God, like, it feels in so many ways like everything has changed. The global situation has changed. We are now definitely on for 1.5 degrees of global warming. That's baked in, literally. There's nothing we can do about it. And now we're going to have an administration of the United States, the most polluting country in the world. And they're going to be basically pulling back on any kind of idea of climate emergency, actually doing something about it. You've got Elon Musk in there who, he put himself out as this green eco warrior, coming out with the electric car, which wasn't anything new, but, they marketed it well. They were sort of the Apple of the electric car market. And, but at the same time, he was doing stuff like Hyperloop, which was just to stop them building high-speed rail or in California, or to stop them building a metro system that actually works in Las Vegas. He had this idea that he'd drill tunnels throughout the ground, and then you could drive really slowly in your Tesla through the tunnel. Very strange. There you go. Hello from France, says Jan Wallace. Hello. I've got a question here. I keep aiming. Gina can't do shit for 2 years. That's bullshit. You can do lots straight away. Lots and lots and lots. Like, your head will spin. Your head will absolutely spin. Go check out Legal Eagle's channel on this, of like what he's got the potential of doing. The gloves are off, but the safety harness is off. Do you know what I mean? Like, he can do whatever the hell he likes. Literally, he could do anything he likes. He could go on a murderous rampage and it would be legal now. I had a question. Oh, the time traveler's in there. Hello, the time traveler. I had a question from Sarah saying, was the island always called Ginger Island? No, it wasn't, Sarah. I changed the name to, it didn't have a name when I took it over. It was just Ian's place, I guess. Ian Usher. It was his island. And I got it off him. And yeah, I named it Ginger Island because I was ginger. There's also a lot of ginger plants around here. It's like quite famous, this archipelago, for its varieties of ginger. Oh, so I've been told not to do that. I'll try to remember to mute the sound next time I take a slurp of me tea. Don't talk to me about those Americans. Well, Elon Musk isn't an American. So we've got the sort of the four horsemen, the four Nepo babies of the Trumpocalypse. Now, Murdoch and Musk and Thiel and Trump himself. Amongst others, I mean, there's probably about 17 Nepo babies of the Trumpocalypse, each as gruesome as the other. But it's come to something when even Republicans are kind of like surprised. They're surprised that Matt Gaetz being nominated for Attorney General, the guy who's wanted in several states for people trafficking, sex trafficking minors across state lines, but he got away with it because he's rich. But his partner in crime didn't get away with it and is serving a pretty hefty jail sentence right now. And he was described by someone, I won't say who in case they get sued, but Matt Gaetz is basically Jeffrey Epstein with the worst tan. If I won an island, it would be called New South Wales. I'd call it New North Wales because I always feel bad for North Wales not having a new named after it. Hi folks, says Uncle Heavy. I mean, even Guinea's got a New Guinea. Come on, North Wales. But yeah, so where do we go with this? Like, let's talk about it. I want to know your opinion, as always, on the matter. Like, I think that Trump's going to spend the next 2 years at least doing the maddest shit possible and making life really, really uncomfortable and shit for a lot of people. But I don't think that that's going to lead to his downfall. He's basically the Liz Truss of American politics now, and unlike Liz Truss, we won't be able to get rid of him after 44 days of absolute madness. A lot of his fans, the people who think he's great, they look at Javier Milei in Argentina, who's an absolute nutball. He calls himself an anarcho-capitalist, and he goes around with a chainsaw. He's made poverty rates shoot up in Afghanistan, Jesus, in Argentina by over 50%. 50% of the people in the UK, sorry, 50% of the people in Argentina are now living in poverty, thanks to this one guy who is an anarcho-capitalist and has slashed all these government departments, which is what Trump wants to do as well. He wants to do away with, he wants to strip out the DOJ's powers, the Department of Justice. He wants to get rid of the Department of Education. Like, he wants to get rid of it. That's just mad, isn't it? Sorry, I'm just going to take another slurp of tea. I will turn my mic off. One Aggie Pagan, thank you very much for the first super chat of the morning. Democracy will have to adapt or go extinct. Has democracy served us particularly well? You know, you could argue that democracy gave us the Nazis. Had it been a first past the post system in Germany in the 1930s, they would have won. They didn't, by the way. They were a minority in the Reichstag, and it was just because the stupid president Hindenburg decided to make Hitler chancellor, didn't he? But it was an idiotic move. But I think a lot of the people in the Republican Party, they're thick as pig shit. The immoral fuckbags, and they're thick as pig shit. And they honestly believe that, like, Trump will be a good leader. And he's just going to permanently disappoint them because he'll just do things like appointing Matt Gaetz as Attorney General. And they're like, I don't know why he's doing this. Why is he appointing Matt Gaetz? Well, I don't know. But democracy has given us Trump because democracy can be hacked very, very easily by bad actors like Vladimir Putin, like Murdoch, Musk, Murdoch with his media empire, Fox News, Musk with Twitter, Putin with his legion of bots and bot army and misinformation putting out there on the internet. And I guess if you don't know that much about politics and the world and you don't take that much of an interest in it, which is fine, by the way, so I have no problem with people not really caring about politics that much. They don't have to. But I do feel like a lot of those people have just been seen as useful idiots by the Kremlin, by Musk, by the billionaires that run everything. But there is another side to this. Like, this might be the end of democracy as we know it. It might be the end of the world as we know it. But it also might be the end of capitalism as we know it. And I never liked that accelerationist thinking of like, well, things will get so bad that people will actually rise up and fight against it and we can build something better in its place. It's bollocks, because something bad happens, like you get a totalitarian tin pot dictator in charge of a country and they ruin the country, they send it into an economic tailspin, and they go around rounding up people, putting them into camps and murdering them. What you are left with at the end of that presidency is bankruptcy, is absolute bankruptcy. And you'll see this time and time again in history. You could give the example of the Russian Revolution. Things got so bad that they deposed the Tsar. Brilliant. But then that fledgling democracy had no money. They didn't have anything. They've been fighting a war for the last few years. They had nothing. And so that fledgling democracy was very rapidly taken over by a dictatorship, first of Lenin and then of Stalin. And then we had Stalin's purges and all the shit that went down with that. Go back to France, things got so bad that they chopped their heads off the king and queen. And then then that terror. Well, that was part of the terror, wasn't it? And then did the fledgling democracy, fraternity and peace and brotherly love, did that Did that work? No. They got Napoleon. They got rid of a king and gained an emperor instead. So I'm not one of these people who think, oh, if something really bad happens and it gets to a point, everyone's just going to wake up and go, yeah, let's start a new system. Because even if that did happen, which I think is psychologically dubious, the chances of it happening are dubious. I don't think people change their mind that easily. And people hate admitting they're wrong. They hate it, absolutely hate it. Yeah, usually it doesn't result in. Sorry, the camera's moving because Pickle's just moving around on the. On. You're such a distraction, Pickle. You're very cute though. Hello, Pickle. Let's see, Pickle. Hello, Pickle. got a little dog. Got a little dog. Hello, Pickle. Hello. Sorry, I was making a point, Pickle. Pickle, you can't just come over and interrupt me while I'm talking to people. It's very rude. Oh, you're so cute. You are, girl. You are so cute. Oh, sorry, I'm just getting completely distracted here. Oh, don't climb up on me. Don't climb up on me. I'm not wearing jeans. It hurts. Pickle is cute, but Pickle is trying to climb on me now. No, you can't come on the hammock. Can't come on the hammock. Sorry, I'm being hounded. Oh, she's got off now in a big huff. Sorry, Pickle. Don't let me on the hammock. I'm going to walk over it. There's another hammock here if you want to jump on here, girl. No, she's having a mad one now. Sorry, I was talking about the end game and what happens generally when things get really, really bad. This is why I'm not an accelerationist. I hated it when people said about the Tories during the Brexit thing of maybe Brexit would be so bad that people will realise like our place in the EU and they'll bring down the Tories forever. And I was like, I don't think it works that way. I mean, even in that election, when the Tories got their arses handed to them, still, it was a wide but shallow win by Labour and by the Lib Dems. It was very targeted to the first past the post system, and Labour only got about 35% of the vote. And they got a stonking majority because they targeted the right seats. They didn't necessarily go for the base, the people who were screaming the loudest for them to do this policy or that policy, to follow the tenets of socialism or whatever it was. They weren't interested in that. What they were more interested in is not spooking the Tory voters, or at least getting a few Tory voters to vote for them. Because that's what you got to do in a democracy. You got to get the crap people who are horrible to vote for you. So yeah, I'm not thinking that way. I'm not thinking like, oh well, capitalism will see its end, despite the thumbnail and the title of this video. I don't think that'll happen. And I don't think democracy will see its end either. But I think there's going to be a shitload of human suffering. There's going to be a lot of human suffering. There's going to be a lot of sadness. There's going to be a lot of violence as a result of Trump and what he wants to do and what he can do and what he can do this time around. And a lot of people are going to have a particularly shit time. So just let me tea then. I'm just going to finish off my tea. I'm going to turn off my mic because I'm going to get into trouble. It's a bit annoying. I call the show Morning Brew, or Ginger Brew, or whatever it's called, and Island Brew. And I can't drink me brew. Sadly, Labour have thrown a lot of LGBT people on the bus. They won't get many of our votes again. Well, yeah, I mean, this is another thing. Like, Labour, in order to get in, had to adopt some of the more horrible bits of the Tory agenda. And now they're in, you'll think, well, they can sack that off now, can't they? And I really, really wish they would. But it's not like in 4 years' time, the Democrats in America are just going to come and absolutely save us all. They're not going to swoop down from above and make this wonderful, brave new world in the post-Trump, the post-Trumpocalypse world. Sorry, I'm just lighting a mosquito coil because I'm getting bitten alive here. No system lasts in perpetuity. Great. Evolution requires adaptation. Variable material conditions may also create interesting times. That old Chinese curse. May you live in interesting times. Hi all in chat, says Alistair. Hello. Should be pink later. 87 people watching and only 16 likes, says Jan. What's going on, peeps? I don't know. This is this channel's not as popular now that I'm just sitting on an island pontificating rather than, I don't know, making funny videos about what's happening in the news. I don't really feel like making funny videos, do you know what I mean? Like, taking the piss out of Tories was so much fun. And taking the piss out of Trump was fun, but now he's got to be a president. It doesn't seem as funny anymore. There you go. I think that's lit. I think it got wet in the storm last night, so it's just not lighting very well. Okay. Critical thinking is when you see who is manipulating you, says Jeannie Bottle. Yeah, and I think a lot of people lack critical thinking skills, and I think that is, it's not their fault necessarily, but you don't get to taught critical thinking skills in school, and I think that you should. I don't know if that's gone out. Pickle is being a badger. For me, capitalism isn't the issue. It's the modern version, hyper-capitalism, that is the problem, says Joanna. Yeah. So maybe there is some light at the end of the tunnel in that when this Trump term ends in 40 years, that people will say, whose fault was this? It was the billionaires. It was the super capitalists. But they will spend so much money, like more money than you can possibly believe, in order to get their paid shills to say the opposite, to say, no, actually, it was the woke people that caused all the problems with Trump. It was the woke people that made Trump do it. He didn't want to do it, but the woke made him do it. Like a horrible, abusive husband who says, you made me hit you to their abused spouse. The same sort of disgusting mantra will come out. You'll see it, and you see this with Brexit already. When people talk about Brexit, it would have been a great Brexit if it wasn't for you Remainers. What? Yeah, because we would have got a really good deal, but you Remainers wanted to stay in the EU, so we didn't get a good deal. What? Boris Johnson had an 80-seat majority. He could have done any deal he wanted. But yeah, we still got the blame. And they'll probably do the same thing again. They'll spend a lot of time and money and effort propagating that myth. And it's one of the things that the left really need to get a handle on, is the fact that the right is putting out so much misinformation out there. They've got so many talking heads. They pay all these kids on TikTok and YouTube and stuff, they pay them 20 grand to just make shit on, they don't care how many people watch it. They just need to get that content out there because some of it will hit. But no one on the left wants to fund that. No one on the left wants to fund a group of content creators. I talked about this last week. It really pisses me off because the right do. So if I was right wing, right, I wouldn't be sitting here going, can you please buy us a couple of bags of soil to stop my property in Panama going under bloody water because of climate change that I could do nothing about because, I'm not an oil exec or a bloody, tin pot dictator of a third world country. You can say, no, we're going to go solar. We're going to go solar, to save all those low-lying islands around the world that are getting inundated with flooding. I wouldn't have to do that. I'd be living life of Riley. I'd be building a new cabana on the water over here every other week and putting people in it and having sitting around in a campfire in a gazebo, in the Palapa gazebo in the middle of the island, singing Kumbaya and learning painting skills and stuff. I don't know. There's so much stuff that I would do, and I'd have time, and I'd have someone to do the thumbnails for the shows, and someone to do the graphics, and someone to, do you know what I mean? Well, probably the same person, but being able to employ someone to actually help you out on a channel, like why? I know to have holiday pay and sick pay, paternity, maternity leave, having a pension. Could you imagine? The right wing look after its workers better than the left wing does. How disgusting is that? The people actually creating the content that help the left, they've got no interest in funding that. They've got no interest in taking the stress away of the everyday, like, is this video going to make any money? Is it worth my while talking to people? Well, I have to anyway, because even if that video makes no money, if I stop making videos, my subscriber rate is going to go off a cliff. Not that it hasn't already, since, the British election and now the Trump election. I guess people are just a little bit like, I don't want to talk about this, which I can't completely understand. But why does the right appreciate its workers' rights, if you want to call it that, more than the left? Don't get it. There's hardly anyone on. Well, I think one of the other problems is, like, the left don't know what they want a lot of the time. You saw this, and I'm probably going to upset some people watching this, and I don't mean to. And please, if this pisses you off, please come back tomorrow. people who didn't vote for Kamala because of Palestine, because of what's happening in Gaza, I don't think I'll ever be able to get my head around that, because what Trump is going to do is going to be demonstrably worse. The guy he's put in charge doesn't even acknowledge that Palestine exists. It's like going, this person's not going far enough in the direction that I want, so I'm going to vote for someone who's literally going to destroy the people who I want to protect. If you've got those two options, someone who doesn't protect them as well as they should, but still wants to protect them, and then you've got, under international obligations and diplomacy and trying to get Netanyahu to do what he's supposed to do, like not be a dick, which is very difficult for Netanyahu because he is a massive dick. But yeah, the people who have voted for Trump, I don't think that many people voted for Trump thinking Palestine would be helped by him, but at least a lot of people that I've heard of or seen being interviewed, they said they didn't bother voting. And somewhere, there's a good 10 million votes that Biden got that Kamala Harris didn't get. I don't think Gaza took up all of them, but if you're trying to prove a point by saying, well, we're not going to vote for this party because he's not giving 100% of what we want, it's not going far enough, allowing the other person to get in when the other person is a sadistic serial killer who will go out and murder with impunity, the people that you want to save, it just seems fucking stupid, to be honest with you. Right, agree, made no sense, says Star. Thank you. Going solar doesn't directly save those who have to deal with sea level rises now. That solves a future issue. Well, yeah, but I mean, they can't come here. I don't think they can come here and help me, like, move bloody bags of soil around all day. I've lost a stone, I've lost a stone in the last week. It's like lugging soil around in the heat. It's not easy. Yeah, but if all the countries in the world tomorrow stopped having cars with internal combustion engines, that would go a long way to stemming future problems, because I can do something about the sea level rising now on the island, and we can build a little wall, because it only needs to be a little wall. We're talking about 1/2 foot. Not the wall's a bit taller than that, but the high tide is it's been gradually inching up over the last 10 years. And when it's combined as well, you see, because you've got the full moon, which gives you your very high tides. Are they called the neap tides, maybe? I don't know. But it's also combined with the fact that we in the archipelago here, we're just off the coast of Panama. Panama has mountains that basically have a thunderstorm every single night. Like, you hear it every night, the thunder going off. It's quite exciting. And a lot of rain. Got dozens of rivers that flow down into this particular area. And if you have the combination of a high tide because of the moon, and also you have a lot of water coming into this area, yet you're going to get these massive tides. It only takes an inch above the norm for your whole place to be flooded, obviously. So the stuff that I can do here to protect this place, as far as solar energy is concerned, the solar panels in the house. I mean, I'm living off grid here. We're off grid. Hello, welcome. The power to transmit this to you has come from the sun, because I charge my phone off the solar panels. How mad is that? It's brilliant, but it's mad. I agree. I would have voted for Kamala, although I understand that someone saying facilitating genocide is a red line. Not getting everything they want is a bit flippant. Same with LGBT plus leaving Labour. Yeah, David. I mean, I get what you're saying. Like, not getting anything they want. The situation that Kamala Harris would have inherited, and I know that she would have done more to protect people in Gaza than Trump. Simple as that. Trump is going to do nothing. He's going to do less than nothing. He'll probably let them all die. And now that die is cast. I don't think anyone who didn't vote for Kamala because they thought that she wasn't the exact candidate that they wanted. I mean, I think they need to fucking grow up and just start living in the real world. No offense to anyone who's watching this who didn't vote for Kamala because of Gaza, but like, yeah, I find it really juvenile to look at a situation like that and go, what can I do in this once in a life, once in a generation, once in a lifetime opportunity to either, elect a black woman to be the president who actually seems to care about the world and care about the people in it, unlike Trump, or we can allow Trump, who's a psychopath who just wants to kill everyone who gets in his way. What else have we got there? Is Pamela going to pay for the wall? No. That's not me being annoyed or triggered, etc. As I fully agree with the substance. Unfortunately, your binary choices and complete expression of your ideas. Yes, it's not, but it's not. That's the problem with democracy. Like you can't, Jill Stein stood and Trump was praising her because she was standing for the Greens, and everyone's like, "What are you doing?" If Trump gets in, that's it for the Green movement. We may as well pack up and go home. Really, we might as well, because Trump doesn't give a shit. He just wants to burn as much oil as possible. He's like Bolsonaro wanting to burn down the rainforests. Like Bolsonaro cleared just the most insane amount of tracts of rainforests, which had been protected up till he got in. Have a look on the graph of the rainforest under protection, and then suddenly he gets in and he just burns it. He just trashes it. He just concretes over it. He doesn't give a shit. He wants to cause as much damage as possible, because there's two types of people in the world, isn't there? There's the people who create, and there's people who destroy. And you're always going to have those people who, since that guy whose name escapes me, thank God, because I don't want to remember his name, burnt down the temple of Artemis at Ephesus just to be famous, and then you had the guy who shot John Lennon, who, don't tell me his name, I know what it is, don't tell me in the chat, who did it to become famous, so everyone would know his name. That fucking psycho who went mad on the island in Norway 10 years ago and shot a bunch of kids on the island, and he did it to become famous, and the tabloids published his name. What? Why did you publish his name? That's exactly what he wanted. That's like someone robbing a bank, getting caught by the police, and them saying, "Yeah, but you get to keep the money." Okay, and you get to go free. Actually, you don't even have to go to jail, because that's what you wanted, isn't it? Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted. Thank you for giving me exactly what I wanted for this, in return for this heinous crime of which I've committed. The rate of polar ice cap melt is increasing. Not only that, but as water warms, it expands. Do not underestimate the physics. I don't, One Angry Pagan. Why do you think I underestimate? It's got to keep getting worse. Yeah, I don't know what to say to that. Jazz Hunt, people don't want to vote for more of the same. Some did want to vote for a terrible change. No one offered a good change. I can't help to think we had the same offer. I hope Labour realises the next time. Yeah, I mean, there's a good chance that Tories might win back their majority in the next election, especially if Labour continues to piss off people. It's very cold in the UK now. I'm sure at least one pensioner, statistically, is going to start freeze in the next few days. And that's going to be all over the front cover of the newspapers over there. It's going to be like, oh my God, this person's frozen because of the Labour government cruelly taking away their £300 tax. The hot water, the warm energy benefit, whatever it's called. Sorry, winter fuel allowance. Shit. There you go. I got there in the end. Bright today, Phoebus. He smiled down for the very first time. He smiled on me. Some Billy, thank you. Nine Wells. Does your solar charging meet all your electricity needs, or is there a chance you might experience a shortage of power there? Yeah, I mean, at the moment, I just have a fan and a light on. Do you know what I mean? I hardly use much of it. When I lived here, I had I've got a fridge. Got a fridge that runs. But apart from that, when I lived here, I would have what's it called? I had a gas powered fridge. It was run off Panagas, the gas you get in canisters here. And then I had a projector. We used to have movies. We have movie nights. I'd project onto. I've got like a white wall. And we used to project onto the white wall under the house. It was really cool. I have a theory. They refuse to accept their child, and child no one wants. No contact or something like this. I don't know what you're talking about. Well, Angry Pagan, the green energy movement is not just about wind and solar. Yes, Tidal, geothermic, etc. too. Diversification of energy generation is imperative. Otherwise, we aren't learning all the lessons. Yes. And it's back to saying hi, Blue Badger. I don't know why One Angry Pagan sounds like so angry. I suppose it's in your name. But yeah, I'm not talking about green issues necessarily at the moment, although I should do a green special here on an island. That is a mangrove island. That is uniquely under threat. Well, not uniquely. It's under threat, like a lot of other islands are, from the rising tides caused by climate change, which is basically the glaciers melting, the ice caps melting, the northern ice cap up in the North Pole. That's fine. That floats on the water like an ice cube. So yeah, not such an issue. Although when Angry Pagan's right, that water does expand when it gets warmer. So that's going to cause higher tides in certain places. It's not going to be high tide. This is going to be difficult to explain to some people who, like the ones who go, "Why is it global warming, but it's still cold in winter?" Yeah, but the levels of water is different depending on the terrain, depending on where it is in the world, in conjunction with where the position of the moon at any one time. There's a lot of different factors. Rain comes into it, as I mentioned. I mean, we are lucky enough here to, well, if we have a very high tide caused by the moon and we get a lot of rain at the same time, then a lot of places, not just mine, get flooded. So we've got to prepare for that. But yeah, there's loads to do. There's loads to do, and none of it's going to get done under Trump. None of it at all. So we can, kiss all that shit goodbye if we hope that America are going to lead the world. And I've spoken about this before. I think this is Britain's chance to lead the world in the green revolution. Just lead it. Lead the Commonwealth. Lead the EU. If we were still part of it, that would make that easier. But yeah, lead all the other countries in Europe into a greener future. And it is somewhere where we could actually be world beating. Britain has an amazing amount of wind energy that we can harness, enough to power, I think, all the homes in the UK. I don't know if we can power all the industry, but we can certainly power all the homes if we maximised our reach on it. Because don't forget the Tories have had like a 10-year ban on onshore wind farms. You're not being able to build a wind turbine on land in case one person objected, which is a shitty move. That's just a shitty oil company move, isn't it? Like buying all the trolley cars. Also, I did warn everyone after the election this will be my primary focus. Okay. Or you get the argument if I put an ice cube in a glass of water, the water doesn't get any higher when it melts. Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, there's other factors, but the real worries are Antarctica and Greenland and the glaciers. Like Antarctica is a landmass and it's got a lot of fucking ice on it. And if that ice all melts, then that's going to raise the water levels. Same in Greenland, it's a landmass. It's not just floating on the water. It's very, very serious and very, very worrying. And we could see sea level rises here in Bocas del Toro of up to maybe half a meter, maybe even more than a meter, just until 2050. And it's going to be difficult to keep on top of that. You have to do this every few years and come back and bring more soil over until the heat death of the universe. Graham mentioned O'Brien's caller calling in names and saying, "I hate you." That's what the comment was about. Oh, did he hate? He said he hated James O'Brien. How many bags of soil do you reckon you'll need to achieve your goal? About 5,000. That's why the crowdfund is set to 5,000. Although I am giving 25% of whatever I get from the crowdfunder to the local sea turtle conservancy. That's the word, conservancy, which looks after the leatherback turtles that lay their eggs on a beach over by Isla Colon, 10 kilometers from here. And that's the main island where Bocas del Toro town is on. Yeah, 5,000. I think we've done 3,000 already. And yeah, we've got another 2,000 to go before we leave. We should get another 300 delivered today. Tomorrow, I'm hoping to get 500 delivered from 2 different groups. We're kind of like putting things out because I should explain as well. If you do chip in for a bag of soil, all this money's going to the local community. It's all going to the locals who are helping out here. I've purposely not gone to, like, I don't know, soilcorp.com and brought over a barge full of soil because I'd rather give the money to the local community here and the indigenous people who live on these islands. Because you look around and the quality of life for a lot of people on the archipelago is not as good as it could be. I mean, in a way, you sort of look at it and go, "Wow, it's idyllic." You know, you get in your little kayuku and you can paddle around the islands and stuff. It's really lovely, and you need a little solar panel for your light and fan at night, and that's all great. That's all. Don't get me wrong, that is all great. But I do feel like Bocas del Toro in particular is kind of forgotten about by the government in Panama City. It's really seen as a backwater, and the fact that we've only got one bank in town, we've got one bank and 3 ATMs. And when we have like a big festival here, or when it's like Christmas or New Year, there'll be queues up the road of gringos, tourists waiting to use the ATM to get money out. It's quite ridiculous. And the ATM only allows you to take $250 out at a time, and it charges you $6.80 every time you take cash out. So I thought, I'll be clever, and what I'll do is I'll transfer some money from my dollar account with Wise to one of the guys who's delivering the soil here. And I went on, and it actually costs more in fees to do a bank transfer than to physically go to town and take the money out of an ATM, even though it's capped at $2.50, even though it's $6.80 per transaction. Yeah, banking, eh? You never see a poor banker, do you? I missed a few episodes. How long are you hanging out on your island? Looks nice there. I'm here till a week on Sunday. So just over a week and a half I've got left. We've still got loads to do. Beer and Soil Fund, Graham. Yay! Thanks, Alistair. I wish I had a little animation to put up on the screen. Yay! But yes, maybe I do. I don't know. I've never pressed these buttons. What else have we got here? There's this. There's this. What's this do? Oh, this sort of changes. Oh, that's really weird. Okay. So now I'm in trouble because I pressed the button to try and bring up filters or something, and it's allowing me to change the filter on the thumbnail, I think. I don't know. Maybe let's see what happens. Oh, look at this. Oh, wow. Yeah, this is a message from yesterday. I'm in the past. Oh, wow. Do this as well. Oh, that's horrible. No, that's quite cool. Anyway, I'm just going to put it on to normal. That's cool. You can do that now on YouTube. Can't do an animation to say thank you for the super chat though. So that'll be great. Beer and Soil Fund, Graham. Thank you very much to Alistair there. Don't mix the beer and the soil. Yeah, I try not to. Got a bit of soil in my beer the other day, I think. Can you set up a bank that offers tax-free accounts to poor folk? Yeah, that'll be great. But in the UK, I mean, we don't pay for our bank accounts. In a lot of countries, you've got to pay for your bank accounts. Free banking is something that we kind of take for granted in the UK. Obviously, you've got a business bank account, you got to pay for it. But for like everyday checking and savings, you don't have to pay for it. You don't have to pay a monthly fee for the bank to, I don't know, hold your money for you. John C, thank you very much for the £20 super chat, mate. That's really kind. Thank you. Ditto. But yeah, so we had a real breakthrough yesterday. So I'm not talking about Trump for a moment because I hate him. I hate the idea that I have to probably see his face every day now for the next 4 freaking years, at least. The damage he's going to cause is going to go on for decades, by the way. Mark my words. Like, it's going to be the rest of my life. Easily the rest of my life. I will be 85 years old, I reckon, before all the damage that Trump has done in the next few years is undone in the States. If it's ever undone, I don't think the States might survive this. I'm going to America next month, by the way. I'm going to pop over there because I'm going to Canada on the way home, and I'm going to just pop over the border to Buffalo in New York. I'm going to do a special show there for you from Buffalo in New York, just to say goodbye to America. You know, we've always had a bit of a love-hate relationship, haven't we, with America? But I'm going to be sad to see it go. You know, we've had some good times, had some bad times, but we've had some good times. I just think it's very sad. Anyway, we had a breakthrough on the island yesterday, which was very exciting. I don't know if you follow me on anything. Hang on. Need to drink. Maybe I should get a smaller cup. But we had a breakthrough. If you follow me on Instagram or Threads or Facebook or I'm now on Blue Sky. I'm actually putting stuff on Blue Sky. Yay. Graham David Hughes. That's all you need. My name. And you should be able to find me. And what we got, I put a video up explaining that we've managed to block the tide coming in at a particular pinch point on the island where we were getting the water coming in. We had built a wall, and yet the water was still coming in, because what had happened, a palm tree had grown, and as it had grown, it had pulled the soil up like this, okay, leaving a cavity underneath for my mouth to speak through. Right? So there's a gap underneath the tree, and then the water's just come in under the gap and then into my mouth, onto the island. And so even though we had a wall there and it was higher than the tide was still getting in. So what we did was we dug a trench parallel with the shoreline, and we put stones right down there, and then we filled that with soil, and then we built up the stones all the way to where the wall was, rebuilt it, and then we packed that behind that with soil, and it worked, which was just brilliant. And you could actually see that on this side, on the water side, the water level was higher, and yet you weren't seeing it on this side. The wall was doing its job. There's at least 2, maybe 3, perhaps even 4 other places we need to do something similar to stop the water coming in. Don't forget, we're not just like, don't imagine this like we're making the whole island rise up by 2 inches. We're not doing that, because that'll take so much soil. It's insane. I'm saying 5,000 bags of soil. It'll be even more than that. What we're doing is we're basically building a defensive wall along the edge of the island to stop the water coming in the first place, to stop it getting in, because actually the middle of the island's kind of high enough. We're going to be putting a bit of soil in the middle of the island so that when it rains, the water runs off like this. So we're going to be filling in a few places that are a bit swampy at the moment. But first of all, we've got to stop the tides coming in, because they're coming in every day. They're coming in every day, and it's just destroying everything. So yeah, some success yesterday. We've done one. We've done one, and I think we've got another 2 to do before I leave in a week and a half. But it's going to take a lot of work, and we've run out of stones, and this is going to be a bit of an issue now going forward, because our wall isn't finished. We had stones on the island that were put here by the previous owner that marked the walkways on the island, but the walkways are at surface level, so they've all been like inundated by the tide, especially on this side of the island. So we're digging up those stones and putting them on the edge of the island to make the wall. We will need to cement that together. We're not doing that while I'm here. I'm going to get Ishmael to do that once I've gone. We're just trying to, proof of concept at the moment that we can build the small wall and it'll work. But yeah, so what we've done you can imagine like the island is shaped like a triangle, and we need to put this wall along one side of that triangle. Okay, the other 2 are fine. Don't need to worry about that. So one side of that triangle needs a wall all the way along it. Essentially, we've gone 3/4 of the way along, and now we've got these gaps where we don't know if we're going to have enough. I doubt we're going to have enough stones to build that. So what we're looking at instead is using the many palm trees that we've had to cut down and putting them in a line to make the fortification, to put the soil behind. Because we could just put a mound. You could just put a mud, a line of mud, essentially. You could leave it in bags, along the coast, and that would probably stop the water coming in, probably. But if it's not in bags, and bags will probably look a bit ugly, but if it's not in bags, then the water will pull it out every time the tide comes out again. It will pull a lot of that soil out. So you need something solid, stones or tree trunks down, so you can just pack in the soil behind it if you like. So yeah, still a lot to do. But I was quite disillusioned at the weekend because we had a really high tide. I don't know if you've seen any of the pictures that I put up of the island like more flooded than I've ever seen it, and I was just like, shit, we're not going to be able to do this. It's too much. It's just too much. How do you push back the tide like King Canute? But yes, thankfully, yeah, it does seem like we've made a bit of a breakthrough. So we've got more work to do. We've got more work to do today. Like I say, we've got another 300 bags arriving throughout the day. The bags are brought by the local lads. They'll come from the mainland or one of the other big islands here with the soil, and they'll work all day. They'll work from like 7 in the morning till 7 at night. And I like to, pay them a bit above the odds for this place. I mean, if there's any Americans who live here watching, and they're going to get really pissed at me because they go, "Oh, don't pay them too much because they're asking for more money." And I'm like, well, do you know what? If they're doing like hard manual labor all day, like, just paying them a couple of quid is a bit of a piss take, isn't it? But that's me being a socialist. Does ginger have its own currency? No, but it should. King Graham is trying to stop the tides. It's been tried before. No, I'm not trying to stop the tides. I'm just trying to stop the water coming in. No, my account's totally free. So it's Leaption. It may become free. What's this? The 2 commons accounts. Yes, talking about commons accounts. We usually have free bank accounts, but conditions may apply, e.g. if you don't use it enough and don't have a certain amount there, fee may be charged. That's facts. I watched a documentary about chimpanzee war, documented by Jane Goodall. It's disturbing that apparently that's happening on a larger scale right now. Yes, chimpanzees go to war, and then they eat the people that the chimps that they kill, they eat them. It's really messed up. It's facts. Republic country have no snow. By the way, my name is not highlighted for me if you write it starting in lowercase. What? And then just nice one, Kerr. Nice one, Kerr. That was the super chat earlier. Due to where Antarctica is and the colour of it when bare earth is showing, it can heat up to 35 degrees. Thus, this melts more snow and ice, and that which would otherwise reflect 90% of the sunlight. Yeah, it's so much, and I mean, like, I feel like this island is a microcosm of the issues we're going to be facing around the world. It is. I mean, I'd say I feel like it. It totally is a microcosm of that. And in the same way, I feel like Nauru in the Pacific Ocean is a microcosm of the entire planet's attitude. They had a particular resource. In their case, it was guano, bird shit. And they made shitloads of money out of mining it. And by doing that, they destroyed their own country. They destroyed the ecosystem. They can't grow anything, and then they blew all their money anyway. Oh, wow, we had a massive super chat. Whoa, Orion does things. Thank you so much for 50 quid. Woo! Been a while since I threw money your way. Now seems like a good time. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Orion does things. Orion does do things. Like a wonderful, wonderful super chat. That's really kind of you. Duke says, at least you won't have to rush back, Graham. It's a bit cold right now, and the government is stable. Yeah, I'm rushing back to save the UK. Although I do want to rush back and see my family, and I do want to see Kat, because I'm kind of, you get a bit lonely. You get a bit lonely out here. I do love it. I do absolutely love it. I love just being able to, and we discussed this last week, being able to disconnect, being able to just turn my phone off and just put it in charge in the house and just get doing some menial work. I tend to find that I come up with like really good ideas when I'm just doing these jobs, just carrying bags of soil around the island, or carrying rocks around, or digging a hole, or we had this massive, I don't know if you saw the video of it on Facebook, but there was a massive palm tree that was dead. It had no frond at the top, and we cut it down to use as a barrier against the water coming in, and Ishmael cut it down with his chainsaw, and then we had to sort of roll it across the swamp to get it to its position. I wish you had the camera crew documenting this. You would piss yourself laughing. Yes, try and roll a massive tree across a swamp. It's lots of fun. You can have a competition on the channel to go with you next time you go to the island. That'd be really cool, Sarah. Yes, it would. But one of the things that I always say about this place, though, is if you're not prepared for it, I wouldn't put someone through it, because it is quite difficult. It might not look it when I'm sitting here on a hammock with some ice cold water and a cup of tea, but yeah, things don't work. It can be quite scary, especially if there's a big thunderstorm and it's very loud. Yeah, and anything you want to do, it's a little bit more difficult. It's a little bit more difficult. It's about living in London. It's a bit like living in London. Like everything you want to do, it's just a bit more difficult. And I feel like we should round back onto what the original topic of this show today was going to be. Was like, how does this end? How do you see it ending? Like, do you think that Trump's legacy is going to last for 40 years in the States? Do you think he's going to disrupt the democracy of the United States, the judiciary, the legislature, the executive so much? Do you think he's going to corrupt it so badly, like Sauron corrupting the rings of power? Do you think that's what's going to happen? And do you think America's going to survive? Like, do you think that's going to be in America, like we know at the moment, in 5 years' time? Or do you think it's just going to, like, do you think there's going to be a point? Because here's the thing, right? If they do bring in the Cornstalk Act and thereby make abortion illegal, effectively anywhere in the states, no matter what those states have as their own state laws, which you won't hear anything more about. You know, the Republicans are very good at talking about state laws until the state laws don't go in their favor, i.e. New York wants to bring in restrictions on guns, and the federal government, well, the federal Supreme Court said no to that. You can't do that. You can't do that. And what about states' rights? No, we're not interested in that now. So you're going to see abortion become illegal possibly in every state in America, even in states where the access to abortion is in the Constitution, because people have voted on it. And if that happens, my friends, why would you stay? Why would you stay in that abusive situation in which you are encouraging gangs of men to go and rape with impunity? And the Republican Party will become known as the Rape-Publican Party, as it possibly should be, because you've got a guy who's in charge, Trump, who is a rapist. You've got a guy who's going to be Attorney General, Matt Gaetz, who's a rapist. And you've got people like Elon Musk, who's this weird breeder who wants to have 57 children in his compound in Texas, was having a big family in a compound in Texas has never gone particularly badly when a cult leader's been running it, you know, in love with the smell of their own shit. And yeah, I can't see these states. Maybe they will. Maybe they'll just go, okay, well, that's fair enough, isn't it? But I think somewhere like California, New York, are they going to stand for that? Are they going to say, yes, the federal government should have control over women's bodies in our state when they are very, very deeply democratic states? I don't know. I don't know if it's going to happen. Parts of Miami are already unlivable due to sea level rise. Yes. Come and see the ginger. Have fun, everyone. Have to go to the horrible outside place. Oh no, John, I'm sorry. I can't give super chats. A gift membership is my only option. Oh, thanks very much, Svax, for that. Sent a few soil pounds your way yesterday, Graham. Yes, you did, Yoni. Thank you very much for that. Really appreciate it. Oh, David Smith dropped a super chat. Thank you, David. Probably the subject matter in Ireland, but you seem lower energy today. Have a coffee and blueberry muffin when you can. Got a good book. No, I've got a list on my phone of all the stuff I've got to do. A friend of mine is doing a run to Ukraine this Christmas, and I need to be raising thousands of pounds for this run that they're going to do. They're taking over 3 SUVs packed with presents for kids, and they're leaving the SUVs over there, and they're going right in. They're going all the way to the Eastern Front almost. And I want to help raise money for them through UK for UKR. But my websites all got hacked. I don't know did I mention this? All my websites, I've got about 27 websites, and they all got hacked because they're all part of one multi-site on WordPress, and they got deleted. All of them got deleted. The database got deleted. So we had to roll it back to the last entry. And because whatever virus they had exploited or whatever backdoor they had exploited was still there a few months ago, they had to run all of my websites back to what they were last year. I lost probably hundreds of hours of work, but I also lost the blog entries that I wrote for last year for UKR when we went over with Lego for the kids. Now we got to Kharkiv, and I've got loads of pictures of the kids, you know, holding their toys, holding their Lego and putting the Lego together and stuff, and that all needs to be put online. So I've got to do that. So that's a shitload of writing. I've also got to, there's the BBC have opened up the script writing thing, which they do periodically, and it closes at the beginning of December. I've got to get one of my scripts tidied up to send off to them, potted up, shall we say, to send off to them. So I've got that to write. And I've got like a few proposal documents to write. One about having a group, a consortium, where we get 10 content creators and we actually pay them full time to make content, no matter how well or bad, how well or badly the videos do. Doesn't matter. They're being content creators. They have to make 5 bits of, content a week, and that could include a TV appearance if you're someone like Zoe Gardner or Femi Olawale. And 10 of us basically, we just get a wage, and we get all the protection and the workers' protection that we would get through. So we get time off, we get a holiday pay, all that kind of stuff. So I'm putting that proposal through. I doubt if a millionaire is going to say, yeah, I'll pay for that, because millionaires are fuckers. Not all of them, but what we're thinking is, if we could just get 8,000 people to subscribe for £10 a month for 10 of their favorites content creators, that would give us enough money to do what we want to do. Setting that up. Then there is the semi-autonomous response network that I'm working on, which is to do with fighting misinformation online. We started this project in the summer, it's something that we need to do. But the problem is we need to get to a certain level of funding before we can go forward with it. It's not something that we can just start with nothing. We're working on that, and maybe actually, if we sort of change the way we're doing it a little bit, I've been thinking about this. It's a semi-autonomous response network, so it's not like it's all bots, it's not like it's all automated, it's not like it's all AI. Some of it's going to be us. So that's what I've got to get involved in as well. I've also got to get Discord, get on Discord more. I keep forgetting to go on Discord. I don't know if it's my ADHD, and if something's not in front of you, you kind of forget. You put it in your locked box in the head. I need to do that and get people excited about meeting up. Your question was, am I reading anything? No, I've just got lots of things to write. So as soon as we power down for the evening, when about 6 o'clock it gets dark here, I have onto the hammock if it's not too windy, or I'll be in the house and I'll just be writing. And that's what I plan to do for the next week and a half. So the 11th of December, if you are a subscriber to this channel, not a subscriber, a member of the channel, or you are a patron, you're invited to a meetup with me and Aid Thompson. We're meeting up at lunchtime on the 11th of December in London. We'll be around King's Cross Station, Euston Station kind of way. So if you'd like to come and meet us, we'll grab some, grab a drink, maybe grab a bit to eat, I don't know. You're very, very welcome to do so. And I'll tell you more about the details of that. I'm sorry it's in London. It's just I happen to be flying back to London. So it makes sense for me to see everyone, and then I'll get on a train to go back to the UK, to go back to Liverpool actually, before Durham, because it's my dad's birthday as well, which is kind of cool. Let's see. Colt, did you pronounce that correctly? But thanks for the super chat. big explanation there. Sorry, you were hacked, Graham. Yeah, it's. Do you know what's great though? There is the Wayback Machine. Thank God for the Wayback Machine, or thank goodness for the Wayback Machine, because that does have all of my blog entries, but it doesn't show what pictures are on them, and I've got to basically reconstruct it. And also the website looks shite now because it's all over the place. If you go to for ukr.com, it looks bloody awful. And one of the other problems I've had here is I kind of expected to be able to get a hotspot on my phone and be able to work on my laptop on the island, and I've not been able to do that. The hotspot only gives you like 1 gigabyte, so you do a bit of work, and then suddenly Adobe decides to automatically download some bloody update, and you should no, stop it, Adobe. It's like, I will stop when I'm done, and then suddenly all your bloody data's gone. Rawr. Anyway, this is why you have lists. Isn't that kind of what Nebula's doing? I don't know. Nebula from Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, Karen Gillan, the lovely Karen Gillan. I don't know what she's doing. Now I need some Terry Pratchett audio books. Yeah, probably. Star says, I always thought that system of checks and balances were a strength, but I can't believe how flimsy US democracy appears to be in reality. Well, the thing is, like, I think with a lot of things is there's supposed to be the power of convention. There's supposed to be the power of, you know, wanting things, wanting to be seen as a good person, not wanting to be seen as a villain, which is a powerful compulsion for most normal people, but not for psychopaths, not for sociopaths, not for narcissists like Trump. He just doesn't care. He quite likes the fact that people think he's a psycho. He wallows in the fact, which is, kind of sad. Wayback Machine being put out of business, a group linked to the far right claiming copyright of the content. Oh my God, this is the thing, yeah? That's why we can't have nice things, isn't it? I've just seen the time. It's just come up to an hour. I'm just going to take a sip of water. If you're wondering what the rattling around is, it's ice. There's ice in the bottom of this. Keep it nice and cool. We're right here in the heat. And I'm sorry that I know it's really cold in the UK. Please stay warm. Don't do anything daft. Don't be, especially if you're getting older. From personal experience, when you're a kid, you can just seem to fall over and bounce back up again. It's like your bones are made of rubber. And then you get older and it's like you have one little slip and you're like, oh my God. Yeah, I'm so glad, by the way, people were laughing at me. I'm so glad that people were laughing at me. No, when I got to Bocas last Saturday, I went into one of the bars there to meet up with Ishmael, just have a drink while I was waiting. And this was after this horrific coach journey that was supposed to arrive at 7 o'clock in the morning and didn't arrive here till 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And they were looking at me going, what the hell is wrong with you? And I'm like, what's wrong? And they're like, you're literally wearing steel-toed steel-toed boots, like work boots, and you've got jeans on, and you're wearing a leather hat and you're carrying a leather jacket. And I'm like, yeah, I've come to work, but also, I'm on the way home. I'm flying via Canada, so I mean, it's going to be cold. It's going to be cold there, so need some stuff. And they just couldn't believe it. They're like, why are you dressed like that? And I'm like, well, yeah, I've come to do work, but I'm so glad I brought those steel-toe cap boots. There's been more than once I've kicked something or dropped a very heavy stone on my foot. I would be hobbling home with a broken toe if it wasn't for those boots. So yeah, good call, Graham. Good call. Good call, me. The natural force of evolution is a bane to those who crave the status quo and keeping things roughly the same. Futurists certainly have to have their place. Well, no, I don't, because evolution is gradual. It's gradual change over time, and things do keep roughly the same. Like crocodiles and sharks haven't changed for millions of years because that system works. And when a system works in evolution, whatever it is, whatever flora fauna it is, it keeps to that system because it works. And then you might get runaway sexual selection, where you get like humans with stupidly big brains and peacocks with stupidly bright feathers. But yeah, when it comes to finding a niche, it's when the climate changes, the environment changes, and you can't adapt because of whatever, then that's when the problems start arising, and climate change is going to force a lot of species to adapt or die. And unfortunately, most of them are going to die. Thanks to oil. Yay, oil. Nebula is a creators co-op platform, Netflix style, where they lefty and lefty adjacent people use not just bikes, philosophy, produce content without the restrictions of the algorithm. Yeah, I get the idea that that's kind of what we want to do, but I think they run it differently. I don't think they run it as like a proper job. Like, I want it run as a proper job. I don't want it to be based on performance rated pay, especially when it comes to political content. It's just that those two things just don't work. If you wanted performance rated pay, you'd do a TikTok where you danced around, jiggled your tits about or something. You wouldn't, you wouldn't do political content if all that mattered was the clicks, as the number of people watching that's not what we're trying to do here, So yeah, I'll have a look at Nebula, but I don't know if that's quite what I have in mind for this. Can I have an evolution? I'm still monkey brained. Yes, you can have all the evolution you want, my friend. Crocodiles and sharks have, in fact, diversified a lot over 3 million years, actually. Well, you have hammerhead sharks. I mean, what the hell? What the hell? Hammerhead sharks, you absolute massive weirdo. But yeah, great whites, they still look a bit the same, don't they? Crocodiles certainly do. Anyway, right, I'm going to get going before I get into a big debate on evolution with my friend, One Angry Pagan. But yes, evolve or die. And yeah, I think the left, the progressives, we've got to evolve as well. And we've got to take the lessons from what's happened over the last 10 years and come up with a better way of combating it instead of continuously fighting the last war. We keep on being caught with our pants down, going, oh shit, didn't expect that to happen. You're like, we really should have done. We really, really should have done. Yeah, moving on. Dogfish are sharks too, remember? Hammerheads are chill. They just want to be left alone. Yeah, but they're very silly looking animals. It's all right. They can't hear me. We've got some nurse sharks out there on the reef. No hammerheads. No hammerheads. Right. So thank you very much for watching. Thanks so much for the super chat. You've been super chats. You've been very, very generous this morning. If you do want to chip in for some soil, the link is in the description. And I'll be back tomorrow at 1 o'clock GMT for another episode of Island Brew. And until then, thanks for watching. Thanks for being awesome. Just thanks for all the chats. Thanks for the super chats. And yeah, until next time, I'll say hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye.